There has never been a better time than now to come join the Bellisio Foods team. Bellisio has a new contract in place with plenty of awesome perks for their employees. From increased wages, access to the free health clinic, vacation after 6 months, and much more, Bellisio Foods is committed to putting their employees first. For more information or to apply, visit BellisioFoods.com/careers. Take advantage of these great new employee benefits and join the Bellisio team today. Visit BellisioFoods.com/careers to learn more. Comedy returns to Parks Edge Event Center just in time for Valentine's Day. Grab a loved one, your friends, and your family, and enjoy a night of food, drinks, and laughs with Karen Jaffe and Andy Frampton. Tickets are on sale now at EnjoyParksEdge.com. Get your tickets for the best Valentine's Day since your crush left that note in your locker your freshman year. It's Valentine's Day Comedy, Saturday, February 12th. Tickets on sale now at EnjoyParksEdge.com.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Main Street TV Morning Show. I'm James, joined by Mr. Newsman himself, Pete Wilson. How are you doing today, Pete?
I'm doing very well, James, and thank you for carrying extra load this week. You don't have your blonde wig, but you're doing a good Jennifer Ratcliffe.
Yeah, Porterhouse is here. I should have tried to rope him into bringing Jennifer's long lost cousin back again.
You have to reprise that. You will have to reprise that sometime.
Should have done. I don't think that wig survived the move from the old office.
Okay, it must be somewhere. It's valuable.
Yeah, it's in a dump somewhere. Well, Pete, another big news day today.
Well, there's always stuff going on, good and bad and whatever, and we try to corral some of it to talk about on TV.
We're going to talk about some of those girls' basketball games from last night here in a little bit.
Yeah, we've got that coming here.
You were at one of them. Red Thompson was at one of them.
Correct. There's a lot of basketball going on because
we got tournament games starting tonight.
Games start tonight, so it's all running together. It's almost inevitable, James, you get to this particular week in February. The regular season is ending. The tournament's about ready to start. Inevitably, there are games that were postponed that have to play. Instead of playing a couple times a week or 3 times a week, they're playing 4 and 5 times a week. It's really demanding on all the coaches and players to get those games in. But it's very important. Some of the games decide conference championships, and fortunately, we're going to talk about 2 of those here when we get to the news,
two good
stories. To the sports, and so quite a bit to talk about. But we're going to start kind of on the crime / court front because we have some big news that will be in our next paper and some big news that was actually in our Wednesday paper that just in the rearview mirror. But ahead of us, we're going to be reporting in Saturday's print edition. It's already online, by the way, on our website, thetelegram.news.com, as well as linked to Facebook. The Jackson Police Department earlier this week had, I guess you could call it a big drug bust at a residence in Jackson, and they were able to confiscate quite a bit of things. If you're watching there on your monitors, your computers, whatever, you can see there was a big haul there. You see a lot of drug-related material, paraphernalia, cash. And the big take here, James, was a very large quantity of fentanyl. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people have heard of the word fentanyl, but it is a deadly derivative of an opiate drug, the most deadly.
Synthetic methamphetamine, right?
That's exactly what it is. And a very small quantity can kill you. Even
if you don't ingest it, right?
On the touch it can, is what I was told. Chief Brent Hinch of the Jackson Police Department, who released this information to us, says that fentanyl is the drug that is most often associated now with drug overdose deaths because it's so easy. It's like, spiking your punch.
People don't realize how much of it.
Right. They're trying to get, the bigger buzz, I guess you could say, and they can step over the line and it can become very lethal if somebody isn't careful or you take a dosage that is too much. But Chief Hinch said that a very small amount of fentanyl can cause a person to overdose. An amount as small as would be needed to cover a zero on a typed paper can cause a person to overdose and die. Now, in this particular case, the police department seized a baseball-sized amount, which is enough quantity. Now, baseball size, you know how big that is. It would be enough of a quantity for every person in a capacity-filled major baseball stadium to overdose. It is just incredible. I remember talking with Sheriff Ted Frazier and some other people in law enforcement 2-3 years ago when there had been no fentanyl here, or at least it hadn't been confirmed. It was in nearby counties, and they were worried about it coming, and they tried to warn people. It wasn't just to warn them about the criminal part of it and to warn the public about it. It was
just how dangerous.
Yeah, the people that are trafficking it and the persons that are taking it, how deadly it can be. And it is believed to be responsible for a lot of the drug overdose deaths, which don't make the headlines as far as individuals go, but every now and then you hear the numbers, and our area is high up there.
I
for
heard
drug overdose deaths.
Statistic yesterday, and this was for West Virginia, not Ohio. In West Virginia, more drug overdose than shooting deaths, car accident deaths. There's one other statistic. I apologize, I don't remember it, but it's all these things that you think about.
Suicide, maybe.
Yes, maybe that's what it was. Okay. But yeah, these things that you think about more so, and then drug overdoses is eclipsing all of them.
Exactly. I saw an internet story. It had nothing to do directly with us. Said that Ohio, the state of Ohio, among the 50 states, is number 3 in the number of fentanyl-related overdose deaths. So even though we're not on the southern border or on the coast or whatever, it certainly has infiltrated our state and our area. No doubt about it. But the particular incident that Chief Hinch was reporting on that is in our story, it occurred on Tuesday, February the 8th. The police department conducted a drug investigation. In conjunction with that, they executed a search warrant on a hotel room at the Red Roof Inn. That's located on AC Avenue in Jackson. And during the investigation and the search, officers located a large amount of suspected fentanyl, a smaller amount of methamphetamine, prescription pills that were packaged for sale. The suspected drugs have been sent to the BCI for testing to confirm the quantity. This is something they always do. They know by sight, sound, and sometimes smell what the drugs are, but it has to be confirmed. The street value of all the drugs that were seized from this hotel room are said to be worth in the range of $15,000 to $25,000. So this was a alleged trafficking situation, not a just usage situation. Which is considered much more serious.
Well, if it's enough for a whole baseball stadium, it's probably not a personal supply.
No, and it's hard to know whether this was being trafficked locally or it was a pass-through thing.
Just passing through,
right? But or it could have been dealing them in there. And that's something I don't know, so don't go to the bank with that. But anyway, regardless, a large amount of illegal fentanyl found in this hotel room. There has been a male who has been arrested and charged in connection with this. It is George H. Fisher III of Albany. He has been charged with aggravated trafficking in drugs for over 50 times the bulk amount of fentanyl. That is a first-degree felony. That's as high as it gets. For instance, murder is first degree. Additional charges will be considered after the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office and Prosecuting Attorney Justin Lovett reviews the case file. But anyway, so good news from the Jackson Police Department in that they're out there working on these cases. I know that Interim Chief Hinch, who will likely become the permanent chief at some point once the civil service process is over, I know he wants to be very proactive in the community and wants to let the public know, what his officers are doing. And we do appreciate him reaching out and cooperating with us to get this information out and to get it out as quickly as possible. All right, well, we have another crime to talk about. This comes from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. And in the early morning hours of Monday, February 7th, there was a burglary at the Sailor Logging Office, which is on State Route 93 near Oak Hill. And they released a couple surveillance photos.
Yeah, here we are.
Right, and there is a mask.
Yeah, it looks
hooded
like
subject.
Yeah, it kind of looks like he's wearing a respirator or something.
Right. Yeah, well, his face was completely covered, or hers maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't want to be sexist on that. But this was in the early morning hours. I believe the alarm or the surveillance shows this happening at 4:07 a.m.
Okay.
But that person did steal some things from the Sailor logging office, and they have some clues in addition to this surveillance video, which, I guess, you're not going to identify anybody probably from their face, but you can see maybe their clothing. Maybe you saw somebody wearing these clothes or whatever, and this gives you an idea of the size of the subject. They also got a pretty good impression of a footprint.
Okay.
They believe that the suspect has a shoe size either 11 or 12. But anyway, that suspect was wearing blue jeans, a blue Carhartt style coat, a gray hoodie, a dark mask covered his entire face. The suspect is 5'9" to 5'11" and appears to weigh in the range of 180 to 200 pounds. Once this subject was inside the logging office, he began taking tools. The subject used a tool bag that was already in the office to load up the tools. He is seen right here in the act of grabbing some of the tools and putting them in the bag. Anyone who has any information, any hunches, any tips, anything that might help investigators, you are asked to call the Jackson County Sheriff's Office at 740-286-6464. And yes, tips can be anonymous. And it isn't just, what you see, like this surveillance video or whatever. Sometimes information gets out there, people talk. Mm-hmm. So if you heard something indirectly about maybe somebody bragging about, executing a crime at the Sailor logging office or referring to some crime that they just committed, anything at all might be a help to those people investigating at the sheriff's office. Now, this story is already online on the telegramnews.com. Also have it linked to Facebook. We're allowing this story to be free. We do that with some of the stories as a public service because we certainly want to assist the sheriff's office. And we do want to do a commercial that for our website, James, as you know, when we have stories that are breaking and they're important, you don't have to wait for the print edition to read them. We've got them out there online. And for our print subscribers, they will be in our next edition of the paper, which, of course, is Saturday.
Right.
All right. Yes. Now, in our Wednesday edition of the paper, we're going to go from the sheriff's office and the police department to the courtroom. There was a big sentencing that involved, and here is our front page, and one of the lead stories up there at the very top of the page. Stahl pleads guilty to murder, sentenced to life in prison. Phil Buffington as he always does, did a great job covering that story. He has covered that story as it's meandered its way through court. There's been two different defendants there. This is the female defendant. Her name is Rhonda Stahl. You see her. That is her as she entered the courtroom for the plea hearing, and then there was a sentencing immediately after by Common Pleas Judge Chris Reagan. This was on Tuesday, and we had it in the paper on Wednesday. The story also online as well. But Rhonda Stahl, she's age 48. She lives in the Oak Hill area on State Route 93. She accepted a plea deal and pled guilty to a charge of murder. She had been initially charged with aggravated murder and corrupting another with drugs and tampering with evidence. She ended up pleading to a murder charge. And as a result of her plea, Judge Chris Reagan sentenced her to a sentence of 15 years to life with the opportunity for parole. Let's see exactly how he said that. He sentenced her to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 15 years. So it is a life sentence, but she does have the chance for parole after 15 years. Now, she is accused of having a hand in the death of Johnny R. Edwards, who was her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. According to the facts that were presented during the hearing, she purposely caused the death of Johnny R. Edwards by knowingly loading a syringe with a lethal dose of narcotics, causing the lethal dose of narcotics to be injected into Mr. Edwards with the intent to cause his death. Judge also pointed out that Stahl failed to administer Narcan, which she reportedly had available in her purse, and she left Mr. Edwards incapacitated in a vehicle while he was overdosing, and of course he was found dead. That was in the parking lot of the McDonald's in Oak Hill. And that happened back on September 13th, 2021.
Remember that pretty well.
Right. There was also a male who has been indicted in that case, and he is to appear for a pretrial hearing when he was to have appeared in a pretrial hearing on Wednesday, February 9th, and his trial has been set for next week in Jackson County Common Pleas Court. And
I apologize for the smirk while you're reading that story, but we had a DJ in the window making faces at
all right.
us.
Yes, we get all kinds of production help here, but that other defendant, James, is Kevin Blake French. He is also charged in that case in the murder of Johnny Edwards. And this is a case where Mr. Edwards overdosed, and the accusation is that two people allowed him to be overdosed, participated in his overdose, and then failed to save him when they had the opportunity to do that, and left him to die in that parking lot. All right, so those are our criminal justice stories. Once again, the story on the murder case involving Johnny Edwards and the prosecution and the sentencing of Rhonda Stahl, that is on the front page of our Wednesday paper, also online, of course, and on Facebook. All right, we've got to move on to some positive news now. And I don't have.
I'm all for that.
Right, I can't.
As long as it's not positive COVID cases.
No,
that's not what you mean, right?
We'll do that on Monday. All right. Okay. The Jackson County Board of Aging Executive Director Susan Morgan. This is the Jackson County Board of Aging. Is the board for the Senior Citizens Program in Jackson. Of course, they have centers in both Jackson, or in all three main towns in Jackson County: Jackson, Wellston, and Oak Hill. She announced, and she wanted this out in the media. She was so glad that this happened. The board recently received a $10,000 anonymous donation to its capital campaign fund. Now, we want to be very clear on this. This was a donation specifically for the capital campaign fund, not for any operations or anything that they regularly do. If you recall, the Senior Citizens Center, the Jackson County Board on Aging, namely, has a plan, a dream
to build
to build a new senior citizen center here in Jackson, and to do major improvements to the centers, the satellite centers in both Wellston and Oak Hill. And they were unfortunately they were not able to pass a levy last year for that. They may come back and seek that again. I don't know. But part of the funding was going to come from a private fundraising drive, and this will certainly help that. A $10,000 starter there. I know that the Jackson County Board of Aging already has the land for that. It's actually across the road from the Red Roof Inn there on AC Avenue.
Which I hear is clear of a criminal element.
Right. Well, and once again, this is
recently cleared of a criminal element.
Right. It was at the Red Roof Inn. Remember, that was just somebody that bought a hotel room. They had no idea what they were doing. So, unfortunately, that happened there at the hotel. But fortunately, arrests were made and all those drugs were confiscated. All right, we'll move north to Vinton County now. And James, this was something I didn't realize, but Red Thompson did some good reporting for us, so we're reporting it a little bit late. But
it's the only kind of reporting Red Thompson does.
He's out there. He is out there, does a great job covering Vinton County. But in that last winter storm we had, we thought that we did pretty good, relatively speaking, and we still did, as far as the amount of ice and snow, and there was lots of areas nearby in the area where people lost power, and it was really bad in central Ohio. Well, it turned out that in the northwest section of Vinton County, for a short time at least, 1,000 people were without electric power. When I checked the sites to see about electric outages, because I'd not heard of any, there were no more electric outages at that time that were being reported in either Jackson or Vinton counties by either AEP Ohio, which is a major provider, or Buckeye Rural Electric, which also is a major provider. But apparently, initially, 1,000 residents in the northwest section of Vinton County were without power. Now, as a result, Bill Fott, who is the director of the Vinton County Emergency Management Agency, there he is right there talking to the Vinton County commissioners at their meeting earlier this week. Red was there to cover it. Mr. Fott reported on this just as a matter of information for the commissioners, but he brought up a very important point. He believes that Vinton County needs to establish some emergency shelters for when these things happen again.
Right.
And so, you got to figure out how to do this and where to do it is the big thing. The schools are a possibility, but there's liability issues that are involved in this. But he felt that that it would be easier to restore the power and also to keep people safe if they had a dedicated, pre-announced emergency shelter or shelters, maybe even more than one. So I think that you will see Mr. Fott, in conjunction with the commissioners, reach out to, perhaps the schools, maybe churches, maybe other governmental centers where there is room for people to gather. It could be more than one shelter. I know they've had these in the past, but apparently that is an issue right now that he wants to address, where, if 1,000, he felt that there were probably 1,000 people. Some of them had nowhere to go, and maybe they stayed in a cold house when they didn't have to.
Right.
And maybe food was even an issue, or maybe the weather and the roads were such it would be hard for them to leave.
Right.
So he was very concerned about that issue. So we'll watch that and see what happens. Also, we're back now in Jackson County with the Jackson County Commissioners. And this was something that was approved at one of their recent meetings. The commissioners approved a memorandum of understanding between the Jackson County Sheriff's Office and the Sheriff's Office Union, the Teamsters Union Local 637, that represents the deputies and the corrections officers there. I'm not sure whether they have separate, I think they have separate union agreements, but the Teamsters is the union representative. And what they did was, we know that it is a buyer's market right now for employment. There's lots of job openings out there, and all these agencies and businesses are having trouble filling them. And so, in a bid to try to retain and recruit corrections officers, in the middle of a contract, they are going to provide raises for the corrections officers.
Wonderful.
The kind of almost unheard of, because a lot of times handled in a union contract, and any raises that they had in the term of contract they'll get, but they're going to get extra now in the middle of this contract. Exactly what they'll be getting is that corrections officers, sergeants, and corporals at the JCSO and the clerks, it will affect them. The first change will eliminate the 0 to 12-month salary step. They will not start at that lower salary that is kind of like that is kind of like a probationary step, where the salary rate is a little lower, the hourly rate. All corrections officers and new hires will be paid a base rate of $13.39 per hour, effective immediately, instead of the lower rate. I don't know what that lower rate was. The second change will take effect May the 15th of this year, and it will forfeit the 2% raise for all previously mentioned employees and replace it with a flat $1 per hour raise, which I assume is better than the 2%. So this is a bid by the Sheriff's Office with the support of the commissioners, who control the purse strings, to provide extra money for corrections officers so they can keep what they have and maybe recruit others. And I've seen on the Sheriff's Office Facebook where they're recruiting for corrections officers, and obviously they're having trouble filling those positions, and they thought that this had to be done.
Keeping people in those positions.
Right, exactly. And, with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office and a jail, that is the Jackson County Correctional Facility, which is permanently at capacity or beyond, it's very important to have corrections officers in there.
Yep.
All right, the Vinton County Health Department would like to announce, we've talked all about the COVID-19 vaccines, but they are providing immunizations and immunization education to the residents of Vinton County and other counties and surrounding counties that has nothing to do with COVID-19. There are other immunizations, and they are reminding people about them. Exactly, both childhood immunizations and for adults. Immunizations are provided to both children and adults. The health department provides all required childhood immunizations, and there's a long list of what they are. And they also provide for adults immunizations for tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, pneumonia, Prevnar 13, and influenza. All those vaccinations are provided at the Vinton County Health Department. They are offered each Monday from 2 to 4 p.m. and
Okay.
each Wednesday from 9 a.m. to noon by appointment. Immunizations are provided at a very low cost. Traditional Medicaid is accepted, as well as Medicaid managed care, including a list of the main health insurance agencies. So, once again, I know a lot of publicity we've given to the COVID-19 vaccinations, where to get them and when and all that stuff. But the regular immunizations, the need for them continues, and that is a list of what the Vinton County Health Department provides. All right. The Benton County Board of Elections wanted us to get out through the media that they are going to have a meeting on Monday, February 14th. It was actually scheduled for earlier this week. We had announced that, and then because of computer trouble at the Board of Elections, they weren't able to.
It's always something, isn't it?
Yeah, we know that
the bad weather passed.
It's paralyzing
So
when you have
went
computer
down.
trouble. It's paralyzing. But so they didn't have all their information ready for a meeting that I think it would have been today. So they have pushed that back to Monday, and they legally have to let the public know through the media when they change a meeting or have a special meeting. And that meeting now is set for 9 a.m. this Monday, February 14th. The purpose is to certify petitions of the May 3 primary election. You know, we talked last week, I think, about the candidates that are on the levy in both Jackson County and Vinton County. Well, this is where the Board of Elections looks at the petitions closely and makes sure that the signatures are correct and valid and there are enough of them. It is a review process that takes place automatically within 10 days to 2 weeks after the filing deadline, which was February the 2nd. So in addition to certifying the petitions, they'll have their regular monthly meeting after they certify the petitions, and there will be an executive session, which they also have to announce in advance, and it will involve personnel. The Board of Elections in Vinton County is located on State Route 93, just north of MacArthur in the community building. All right, well, we want to tell you, you know, we talked about that $10,000 anonymous donation for the Senior Citizens Center and the Jackson County Board of Aging. Well, the Jackson County Banking Center of the Vinton County National Bank, that's on McCarty Lane. That's the branch of the Vinton County National Bank here in Jackson County. It's just growing like a weed there, very popular. But the banking center has very recently made a donation to the Truth Sports Program. And the Truth Sports Program does soccer for sure, and maybe some other youth sports as well, but it's privately funded, and the Vinton County National Bank has stepped up to help. And in that picture there, it looks like it was taken at the bank. They have given
fancy new bank.
Yes, it is a fancy new bank there on McCarty Lane. And if you're looking at the folks from left to right, you have Rachel Tipton, who's the manager of the MacArthur branch, Callie Dahl, who's the manager of the Jackson branch, and then you have three representatives of 146 Incorporated, which is the organization which runs Truth Sports here in Jackson County. And those folks are Jennifer Moore, John Moore, and Justin Oyer. And Truth Sports wants the public to know that they are very appreciative of the Jackson County Banking Center's support, along with the other individuals and businesses which have already contributed to this youth sports program that, you know, we'll see evidence of here when the weather gets warmer. If anyone would like more information or to make a donation, you can visit the Truth Sports website at truthsports.fun. And that John Moore of Cardo's Pizza fame provided that information to us. So they're very appreciative of the Jackson County Banking Center of the Vinton County National Bank.
So I remember it's a while back when John was on the show. He mentioned that they had purchased a plot of land that they were planning on turning into a field for this, right?
And that, I believe, I know, it's on McCarty Lane.
Yeah, close to the bank.
Yeah, not too far down from the bank. If you're thinking of the bank there, if you go down McCarty Lane past Walmart, the bank sits there on the left before you get to the Veterans Drive. If you go through the Veterans Drive, go by the Veterans Drive intersection, on down towards U.S. Route 35, about halfway down, there is some land to the left. I think there's a sign there now. That is where there's going to be a soccer field. And that's badly needed here in Jackson because the soccer field that they did use was on city property by Fairmont Cemetery. and they built a new substation there. So that created a problem. Also, at some point, I know the city is interested in expanding the cemetery.
Yeah.
So that land is just not going to be available now, and certainly long term for soccer. So that's what's cooking there. All right, we talked about financial incentives for employees and what the commissioners and the sheriff's office are doing. Well, it's happening in the private sector too, and this was announced by Ohio Valley Bank, so we can say it publicly here. Ohio Valley Bank, of course, they are based in Gallipolis, their headquarters, but they have branch banks in Jackson, Wellston, and Oak Hill. They have announced a $1,000 signing bonus for customer service representatives.
Have you applied yet?
No, not yet. Can I do that on the side? I wonder how long. I'm sure you have to stay for a while to get that 1,000.
I don't know.
I'm not sure how that
This
works.
is a signing bonus. I say you sign your name on the thing and
sign and run, right? No, you don't want to do that. But the customer service representatives, they're very important. They are the front people with the public. The clerks, the tellers, the people in the drive-thrus, and so forth. And this tells you two things. This tells you what the market is for employees. So that the bank, but a lot of people want to work at a bank, even a starter position. But OVB is announcing a $1,000 signing bonus. This is released through the corporate office. To be eligible for the $1,000 bonus, the new full-time customer service representative must successfully complete job training and achieve a passing score on a community service representative test that they give. The bonus will be paid in one lump sum at the end of the month. Part-time and seasonal CSR positions are not available. So this is for full prospective, full-time employees who can get that signing bonus. And if you're interested, all you need to do, you can apply online. I'm sure you can show up at one of the bank branch locations.
Yeah.
We have a branch bank right out here on Main Street, just past Burger King. Can't miss it on the left if you're driving out that direction. I'm sure you can get all the information and probably sign up for that bonus, or at least the opportunity to get it. You do have to go through training.
Yeah.
And it is a full-time position.
I think I could handle the training.
Okay. All right. Well, there's some other things that are happening.
Okay.
Tonight, this afternoon and this evening, the Jackson Downtown Association will have its chocolate walk, right? And this was supposed to have been last Thursday, but you know why we didn't do that? Yep. We were snowed in, iced in,
frozen chocolate,
right? And it will take place from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. In the downtown area. I don't know how many businesses and stores and offices are participating, but this was very popular when it was first done a couple of years ago. 31 businesses, I think, were involved in that.
That's a lot.
And I kind of like to call this trick-or-treating for chocolate. And it isn't just,
you normally get chocolate at regular trick-or-treating too, Pete.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. But this is going to be all chocolate. And I know one place I know is going to do like chocolate cupcakes. It isn't just like maybe little Hershey kisses.
It's not snack-size Hershey kisses,
No, you can talk about quite a haul, if you do this.
It's too much for one person, that's for sure.
Right, and the tickets are only $7 each, and you get those at Apple City Computers, right, which is on Main Street right next to the former Total Media building. We're not there anymore, but a lot of folks identify with that building.
I don't think we forgot anybody over there.
No, I think we're all over here now.
If we did, they'd really be wondering what's going on by this point.
But you're talking the corner of Main and Church where that Total Media building is, and just as you walk back towards town, towards the Marquee, Apple City Computers right next to.
Right across the street from pawn shop.
Right, exactly. So if you have any questions, you can also call Julie Denny at Andrea's Prom and Bridal. That number is 740-910-2152. Once again, 740-910-2152. But there's going to be like no big door prize or any hoops you have to jump through or anything you got to sign. You just have to buy that ticket. You don't have to start at 4 o'clock, but you can. Whatever you can do in a total of 3 hours, you can do.
All right.
And when you get your ticket, I'm sure they'll let you know what where and what the participating businesses and offices are. But look for heavy participation downtown. And I believe the weather's going to cooperate this time around.
Yeah.
All right, tomorrow And
Snuck
tomorrow,
up on us.
it has. Tomorrow is Hug Your Heart Day.
Hug Your Heart Day, yeah.
It's going to be at the Parks Edge Event Center from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And this is just a wonderful event geared to show love and support and information for senior citizens. It's not like you got to show your license or your birth certificate at the door. It's not that kind of thing at all. It's not a government thing. The YMCA and Holzer Health System are the main organizers, but there's lots of local agencies, offices, and businesses that are supporting this, James. And you're talking about a free lunch. You're talking about free live entertainment. You're
Health
talking
screenings, memory screenings,
Right,
entertainment, silver sneakers,
Right.
door prizes.
all those things to help you then and help you in the future, especially if you're in that age bracket. And, they'll do some participation games as well. They always have a good time there, and it's a great opportunity for socialization. And once again, that is at the Parks Edge Event Center, 601 East Main Street in Jackson. Used to be at the YMCA, but this is the second year now. It will be at Parks Edge. Once again, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's absolutely free.
Absolutely free.
You don't have to buy anything there. And it's a great opportunity maybe to see some friends and to get out. And everybody likes to do that, when we've been holed up
It should be a
because
nice
of winter
day.
and COVID and all those things.
Yeah.
All right. Also tomorrow, the Sylvester Memorial Wellston Public Library will have its Valentine card program. This was also a casualty of the weather last week. It was supposed to have been on Thursday evening, the 3rd. Now it's going to be on Friday evening from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. The library there in downtown Wellston. And this will give an opportunity for young people and children to make homemade Valentines, which will then be passed out to nursing homes.
That's
just
nice.
in time for Valentine's Day, which, of course, is next Monday.
Absolutely.
All right, so that is Hug Your Heart Day, the Sylvester Memorial Wellston Public Library's Valentine Card Party, and the Chocolate Walk. All those things coming up here in the next 24 to 36 hours. We also want to give you advance notice once again about the Apple City Players and the Hallelujah Girls, which will be on the weekend of February 25th through the 27th.
3 nights.
Exactly, at the Marquette Cultural Arts Center. I talked to our own Cynthia Stifler, who works here, right?
I haven't told her this, but we're going to get her to come in here one morning.
I know she'll be glad to do it.
I don't know how busy her mornings are, but I'm going to try and get her to come in.
Well, she is
one day that week.
She is in the cast.
I think she's directing it, isn't she?
I believe it's Doug Sharp.
Okay.
Doug Sharp directed the last Apple City Players production, and he's doing this one as well. And oftentimes he's in front of the camera too. But Cynthia,
there's no camera.
Cynthia, no, that's
just
right.
Just to play.
No camera unless somebody's videoing it. Cynthia Stifler, Kim Seitz, Allison Brown, Laura Miller, Kelsey Stewart, Bethany Sarah Penix are all in this, as well as Christopher Boyle and Adam Hollingshead. And we'll say more about this before February 27th, and I know you'll try to get Cynthia on here.
Yeah.
This is no surprise. This is going to be a comedy.
Right.
That's what the Apple City Players specializes in. There may be some music, but she said, don't promote the music. It's a comedy.
And I mentioned this last time you brought that up, but that play is written by someone that was one of the writers for the Golden Girls.
And they call it the Hallelujah Girls.
To give you an idea of the type of humor you're in store for.
Okay. And well-timed as a tribute to the late Betty White there.
Absolutely. It makes sense.
All right. Well, the Jackson Area Chamber of Commerce, James, and as you know, I know you help a little bit with some of the social media for the chamber, and we certainly do that here through Total Media as well. They've become very active with some events and activities, not just doing ribbon cuttings and trying to get up the chamber membership. They've got a thing going now called Super Bingo, and we're talking about SOUPER, kind of a play on words on the Super Bowl, I'm sure. But this is a great participation thing for the public and also for the businesses, many of which may sell soup because it involves restaurants. And the following participating restaurants are involved: the Spot on Main, the Downtown Treatery, Hometown Hibachi, Michael's Ice Cream, 6 Cents Brewing and Tap Room, Toro Loco, Archinetti's, Hothead Burritos, Cardo's Pizza, Chillville, which is part of Cardo's, Rowdy's Smokehouse, Jackson Express, Witt's Frozen Custard, Circle M Meats, Jerry's Jamestown Market, Dakota's Roadhouse, and Bob Evans. Most of those are in are in or around Jackson. And what you do is you get that bingo card. You can see what it looks like right there. And this started on February the 1st and will go all the way through the month of February, so you have plenty of time to participate. It encourages participants to make 4 different purchases at the qualifying restaurants listed in the contest. Participants who complete the challenge will be entered in weekly drawings with 16 chances to win gift cards to these restaurants. So it's geared to help the restaurants and also to help the business, focus on them, and then also to get the public and potential customers into these restaurants who maybe if they're trying it for the first time say, oh my gosh, this is a great place, I'll come back. So you can see what the concept is, and the Jackson Area Chamber of Commerce is behind that.
A game of bingo I think I could win.
Right. We'll go for that. I mean, you don't have to. The bingo card that you get doesn't cost anything. So there's nothing to lose and everything to gain. The Jackson Area Chamber of Commerce, speaking of, they're going to have a bowling tournament.
What?
Yes, they are. They've never done that, and it's going to be Wednesday, February 16th at La Ella Lanes in Wellston. There is no bowling alley in Jackson. There used to be.
It's a community college now.
That's what it is. And before, where Parks Edge Event Center, I know you're too young.
It was a bowling alley.
That was the Jolly Lanes.
Yeah, I never knew it when it was a bowling alley, but I didn't know that it was.
Right.
Because the stockroom was originally the bar for the bowling alley.
Right. The bar was always there as part of the bowling alley because they kind of go together, bowling and beer. But
I think so.
But that was a bowling alley a long time ago, the Jolly Lanes, and it's come full circle. It's now the event center. But anyway, I digress. The bowling tournament is set February 16th at Ella Lanes. The public is invited to participate, or businesses can participate as a business. Chamber members can register a team of 4 for $50. If your business is interested in being a lane sponsor, the cost is $75. That will pay through a sign, a lane, and a team of 4. So kind of sounds like a fun event for the Chamber of Commerce and its members.
Hey, speaking of fun events, I just got an email. I figured I'd mention this real quick. If there are any wrestling fans in our listening audience
there's
today,
a few.
WWE Raw is coming to Columbus on February 28th. That's at Nationwide Arena. And Matt and the Morning Crew 96.7 are going to be giving away tickets to that. So if you're a wrestling fan and are interested in winning tickets to that, be sure to tune in to Matt next week on 96.7 for your chance to win. I got an ad here. You want to listen to the wrestling ad?
Do it.
All right. This is, see if we can get this to go.
WWE returns
There
to
we go.
Columbus's Nationwide Arena with Monday Night Raw, February 28th. You want to fight? You got it!
You want to fight?
As he joins the Raw Tag Team Champions. To face Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens, Becky Lynch defends the Raw Women's Championship in a triple threat match with Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan. And more. These seats are available now, and tickets start at $20 at Ticketmaster.
There you go, Pete. You want to fight?
That sounds like a wrestling commercial, by
sure
gosh.
does.
Yeah.
But if you do want to fight, listen to Matt next week. Chance to win tickets to that. That's exciting.
All right. Well,
that's breaking news. I didn't know that until just now.
I do know that there are some pro wrestling fans around here for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna have pro wrestling at the county fair this year. Did you know that?
I saw that. A little bit of a new angle there on the entertainment.
Little being the
right
the keyword.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure we'll hear more about that. It'll be a different type of attraction at the county fair. All right. Well. Of course, another thing that people do instead of in addition to liking pro wrestling, they like to hunt around here.
That's true.
And deer hunting,
walk up to that deer. Hey, deer, you want to fight?
Well, unfortunately, the deer's at a disadvantage.
The deer's like, nah, dude.
The hunter usually has a shotgun or archery equipment.
I'm just trying to eat some grass. Leave me alone.
But anyway, do you have any idea, James? I'll put you on the spot here. How many deer do you think in the last deer season, and we're talking about the deer gun season, which is a week long plus an extra weekend, and then the archery season, which starts before the deer season and extends through the first week of February.
Yeah.
How many deer do you think hunters checked in Jackson County during that period?
I think I knew this stat for the state, and I don't remember it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say the long-term trends have probably been down over the last few years.
You're right about
and
that.
I bet it spiked up the last 2 years with COVID.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You're pretty close on there. Do you have a number to guess how many deer might be
just
checked?
in the county?
In the county.
I don't know, 1,000.
Okay. 2,764. So, and I can tell you, being older than you, they used to take even more deer than that in the past. And part of that is not because people are hunting less or there are fewer hunters. It's just that the deer population has expanded. Mm-hmm. And some of those hunters who drove all the way to Jackson from Benton
they don't
or
come
Columbus
from out of town
or
like
Toledo, they don't have to go as far to find deer hunting opportunities.
Yeah.
But it's still a big deal here. 2,764 deer were taken during the 2021-22 deer season. And more, James, it's archery where they're doing it. That used to be kind of like a sidelight,
kind of a niche thing.
Very small thing. But, it's a little bit harder to kill a deer with archery. You have to get a little closer. It takes a little bit more skill. And that's taking nothing away from the shooter, from the gun marksman. But this last year, 49% of the deer taken in Ohio, I don't have the breakdown for our county, but 49% of the deer taken was by archery equipment.
Is archery season longer?
Archery season is longer. It starts in the fall, well before, I think it starts in November, and it goes all the way through February the 5th. So that's another reason why there's more and more deer taken with archery equipment, because you have more time to do it, not just 1 week and then an extra weekend.
Right.
But in Vinton County, I want to give those numbers too. 2,433 deer were taken in the 2021-22 deer season, about very close to the Jackson County total. And for the first time in the last several years, the deer harvest, they call it deer harvest, they don't like to use the word kill. The deer harvest was up a little bit.
Yeah.
It had been declining, not a lot, but declining a little bit each year for those factors that we talked about. It wasn't so much that the deer population, maybe it's been thinned a little bit because in recent years,
judging by how many are in my yard, I don't think they've thinned it.
Well, there's different things at work there. The hunters like for a lot of deer to be there. The farmers aren't so keen about too many deer being around, and motorists out there, when you hit one, you're not too keen about all the deer running around. But it's a management thing that a gentle balance thing, a delicate balance thing that the Ohio Division of Wildlife tries to figure out on, the deer seasons and how many deer you're allowed to take and the kind of deer you're allowed to take, bucks or does and antlerless and all that. It can be very complicated when you hear about it for the first time. But anyway, we will have a story in an upcoming edition of the Telegram about the deer season statewide and those local numbers as well. All right, well, we've come to the sports side, and you teased this, James.
All right.
And there is some big news to report from the sports side. We have 2 championship teams to report from in Jackson and Vinton counties. On Tuesday evening, the Jackson Iron Ladies played at Chillicothe, and they went there with no less than a share of the Frontier Athletic Conference title. Chillicothe was in second place, and if Chillicothe won that game, Jackson would share the title with Chillicothe.
Right.
Still a wonderful achievement because Jackson's got a young team.
They physically cut the trophy in half and give each of them
They
part
did
of
not
it,
want to do that. They did not want to do that. The final score, Jackson 64, Chillicothe 37. I don't think there's any doubt who the champion is. And so congratulations to Matt Walburn and the Jackson Iron Ladies. They are the champions of the Frontier Athletic Conference. I believe their record is 14-5. They'll finish the regular season this week. That is T.J. Carpenter in action over at Chillicothe, and our Red Thompson Jr. was on the scene to cover that. We knew that would be a big game, and so we traveled out of the county to cover it. Report will be in Saturday's edition of the Telegram with a photo or photos. Then on last night, the Benton County Lady Vikings went to Alexander, and it was a similar situation, James. They had a share of the title, but they had to beat Alexander to be the undisputed champions. And that score, Benton County 55, Albany Alexander 35. So no doubt the Lady Vikings are the champs 4 years in a row now for the ladies. They are a senior laden team. Congratulations to Coach Jones and all the Lady Vikings. And
of course, Red Thompson was there too.
I don't
know how he how he gets all these things.
He gets to all these places. He may be sleeping now because he's got some time coming to him. But
he'll be sleeping when he's in here typing.
But he was there to actually talk to the girls and to the coach last night.
Yeah, so he sent me this little video. So let's head back to last night. Red Thompson.
All right.
All right, ladies, you won your 4th consecutive TBC title tonight. Tell us how it feels to be in a special moment.
I mean, it feels great. We got it 4 years in a row, so it's nothing new, but it's great to have it 4 years in a row and do something no one else has ever done.
Yeah, we worked really hard. We knew we won it freshman, sophomore, junior year. We didn't want to give it up our senior year. We didn't want to share. We wanted to win it outright, and that's what we did.
Did you think it would be closer tonight than it was?
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a dogfight. I know playing here is a difficult place to play anyway, so coming out and winning by 20 is just awesome.
Yeah, we just gave it our all.
And now looking ahead, we entered the tournament, and what's your expectations about entering the tournament?
We just want to play as hard as we can, we know any game could be our last game, so just give it our all.
Yeah, we know McLean's a pretty good team, so definitely a district championship and to get into regionals is our goal.
Yeah.
And what do you think of the big crowd that followed you over here tonight?
It was great, considering we didn't get it last year because of COVID, so it's just a great feeling to have it back here.
We have the best fans, that's for sure.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you, Red, for sending us that video.
Right, and that was, by the way, Tegan Bartow, number 12 on the left, and Cameron Zinn, number 32 on the right, and they are two of the seniors on that outstanding Vinton County Lady Viking program, and we always need to throw this in whenever we can. Remember, those two girls were part of the state tournament team that went all the way, won the semifinal game, and then finally lost in the state championship game, and they're about to begin the tournament.
About to try to do it all over again.
Right, exactly again. Yeah. And did we have the coach too?
That's all. That's the only clip I got.
Okay, all right. Coach Jones was also on video there. I think Red has got that on his own Facebook, so you might want to check that out as well. And so 2 championship teams, James. That is tremendous. We do want to run down some scores that we have in addition to those 2 games we told you about. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, last night, the Jackson Ironmen, and this game was broadcast on WKOV, the Jackson Ironmen went over to Chillicothe. It was not a good night. They had a good night on Tuesday against Unioto. They won that game, but last night lost to Chillicothe, who was on their game. That score was 47-35. The Oak Hill Oaks lost to a very good Lucasville Valley team, 71-50. And the Wellston Golden Rockets lost to Meigs, 58-49. So none of our local teams on the boys' side did well last night. They've won their share of games this year, but last night it didn't work out. On Tuesday, Jackson in boys basketball defeated Unioto 52-47. Waverly defeated Oak Hill 66-46. Wellston playing Meigs 2 nights in a row. The first time around, they beat Meigs 70-54. And then Alexander just did beat Matt Combs and his Vinton County Vikings in boys basketball 65-63. I know that Vinton County is still in the running for the TVC Ohio boys title. This kind of set them back a little bit, but they are still in the running for that TVC Ohio title. All right. Tournament play.
Starts tonight.
It does start tonight. For the girls, the boys are 1 week behind. The boys still have some regular season games to play. The Jackson girls are playing if it comes off, and I think it will. Jackson is to play at Nelsonville, York tonight in a regular season game through girls. But on the girls' side tonight, 2 tournament games involving 2 of our teams in Division III. Mm-hmm. Southeastern will be at Oak Hill. Yeah. So Coach Scott Lewis and his Lady Oaks, they have a winning record. Remember senior Chloe Chambers, we talked about her milestone, 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds.
And Todd Compson wrote a 1,000-word article about her.
Okay, well, I'd say that she's deserving because, we'll stress it again, if you're not a basketball aficionado.
He said, I never write articles that long, but I thought it was appropriate.
Okay, well, I tell you what, 1,000 points is special, 1,000 rebounds is even more special, and doing them both.
Yeah, and getting Todd to work that hard on the story. That's really something.
Now, you said that. we put Chloe on the front page, by golly. All right.
She's on the inside, too.
A big story inside as well. Exactly. see.
There she is.
Yep, there she is.
Not that you can see it from that far away.
No, that's it. We called it our Chloe Chambers edition.
Yep.
But anyway, also tonight, that Southeastern Oak Hill game, by the way, broadcast time about 6:45 p.m. Keith Davis and Brian Howe will be there. You can hear that on WCJO 97.7 FM.
And the Total Media app.
At Total Media
Listen
app.
online at yourtotalmedia.com/radio.
Right. You don't have to have a radio with you or something plugged into the wall. So Wellston also will play at Adena. So the Lady Rockets will have to hit the road, and that will be an uphill battle because Adena is one of the top teams in Division III. You can hear that game at 6:45 p.m. on WYPC, 1330 AM, 105.3 FM. And Nathan Mollahan, I believe, will be there to broadcast the game. We certainly appreciate him taking on that role this year. And that will be a road game for Wellston at Adena. Long way, but hey, listen, you can listen to it on the radio. Maybe flip the channel and check out both games at the same time.
Yeah.
On Monday, Jackson and Vinton County will start their tournament trail in girls basketball. Jackson will be at home. Valentine's Day, right. Yeah. We don't want any broken hearts here in Jackson County or Vinton County. No. Miami Trace will be at Jackson that'll be on WKOV 6:45 p.m. broadcast time, or maybe a little bit before. And then on WYRO, you can hear the game of the Vinton County Vikings against the visiting Greenfield McLean Tigers. So by virtue of their good seasons, Jackson and Vinton County, they get to host the first tournament game. Yeah. That is a big advantage to be at home. But I can tell you, I've seen both of those teams, Miami Trace and Greenfield McLean, both have good teams. For instance, Miami Trace defeated Jackson at Miami Trace early in the season. Then Jackson won more recently at home, but it was in overtime.
Yeah.
So that not an easy game for Jackson, and it won't be an easy game for Vinton County either.
No.
And remember, in the tournament, it's one and done.
Yep.
If you win, you go on to the next round.
Yep.
And every tournament game, boys or girls, we will have on our respective radio stations.
Yep.
You know, also on the sports side, and man, are we going to get into this tomorrow, James?
Yep.
So we'll hype a little bit what we got coming up. The Super Bowl is on Sunday.
Yes,
we're going to have special coverage in the Telegram Saturday, and we're going to have a special edition of the Main Street TV morning show.
We're going to have a really good episode tomorrow.
Right. Well, tell the audience about it, because this is really going to be worth tuning in to.
Well, so tomorrow, Pete Wilson's going to be joined by his broadcast partner, Dan Morrow, and Jackson High School head football coach, Andy Hall. And we're going to break down Coach Hall's experience coaching against Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. And we have some more highlights of Burrow from high school that we're going to watch. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the three of you are just going to get into it and just kind of, you know.
That's our plan.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, we're also going to we're going to talk about the football game. We're going to talk about Joe Burrow in high school. Coach Hall is going to he's going to compare Joe Burrow to other high school players that he's coached against. And remember, Coach Hall's coached 13 years. He's coached a lot of good players. He's coached against a lot of good players. And so, you know, he'll address that. We're going to try to see that all of the panelists there maybe make their prediction on the Super Bowl as well. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl matchup between the Bengals and the Rams, but the focus is going to be on how it relates to our area because of Joe Burrow. Of course, he is the local and area link, the Athens High School product for the non-sports fans out there. That makes it all the more special. And, of course, the Bengals are the closest pro football team geographically.
And Pete's Bengal hat makes its triumphant return.
Oh, we may get that out of the closet there for that. Dan Morrow's got a few hats, too. They're a little bit more conventional. And I believe Coach Hall will play it straight.
Yeah.
He'll be the straight man. But we can guarantee
Pete, you're the mascot.
Okay. Well, that's okay.
Does the Bengals mascot have a name?
No, I don't think it does.
Okay.
I've compromised myself many times, and I'll probably do it again there for that broadcast. But, you know, we figured it out, James.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll talk about this, I'm sure, on the show. Dan and I are Bengal fans from way back.
Yep.
We were Bengal fans when they started, and they weren't any good. And for a long time, they weren't any good, but they're good now.
Yeah.
And we figure that based on statistical probability and history, that we may be dead before they're back in the Super Bowl again. So by golly, we're going to have some fun with it.
and you mean by they might go back to back Super Bowls, and you're just gonna die from excitement from this one.
Well, who knows?
Pete might not be here.
I tell you, my heart rate increased when Evan McPherson kicked that field goal to beat the Kansas City Chiefs a week ago last Sunday.
We like to tell stories about the late great Buzz Fisher sometimes in here, talking about local sports broadcasting legends.
Right.
I remember the last time Ohio State won a national I guess they won the college football playoffs a few years ago, but this was when they won the college football championship back in 2008.
Okay.
I don't remember what year it was. Do you remember?
They won in 2003 for the 2002 season.
It was later than
and then
that.
2014.
It must have been 2014.
It was with Urban Meyer.
Yeah. Well, was there not one? Maybe it was two. I don't remember. Anyway, I remember Buzz telling this story about he watched the replay of the game the next day. He's like, I was a lot less nervous watching it that second time. I just remember thinking that was so fun.
Right. Well, I tell you what, I do remember Buzz, great sports fan. Of course, Oak Hill Oaks, his main team. But on the pro side, I don't know whether he could have rooted. I don't know whether he would have rooted for the Bengals because he was Cleveland Browns through and through. And
he's a big Buckeye fan.
Right. You have, it's a dichotomy that's a little strange. The old time Bengal fans used to be Browns fans, and maybe some of them still are. I am, but the tried and true Browns fans, deeply rooted Browns fans, they never did and never will root for the Bengals. They don't consider them a second team. They consider them a hated rival in the league with the Steelers.
Yeah. Well, it is. It is interesting that they're both in the same league like that. There's not very many professional sports teams.
It makes for some great rivalry talk and excitement in the fall. Yeah, when the Browns and Bengals play each other and they're in the same division.
All right, Pete, we did it.
We made it.
We made it through. I appreciate your help.
And you didn't have to have that blonde wig on to do it. You can do it. You can do it.
I want to thank everyone for bearing with me this week while Jennifer was out. I have the day off tomorrow. Pete's going to handle everything himself. So I appreciate Pete, not making me be on camera again tomorrow. And I appreciate all the viewers for bearing with us. Jennifer will hopefully be back from her vacation on Monday, and we will get to hear stories about, being someplace warmer.
Okay. All right. Well, we're jealous, aren't we?
Yeah, a little bit. All right. Well, thank you all for watching, and we'll be back here tomorrow morning with Pete, Dan, and Coach Hall.
All right. We'll be here.
All right. Bye, guys.